What about ye? We have a letter or a parcel in the mail from a subscriber. I knew this was coming. The guy sent me a couple of emails saying, I'll send you this here to tell us what you think of it. And it is in a Pico box, but it's an Autel Maxiscope 4-channel scope. And it's from smauto.ie Simon Manley, who's in Bray, County Wicklow, and he comments quite a lot on the channel there. So he asked me to have a wee look at this scope. So Simon has sent me this scope to basically see what I think of it, and this is his scope. He hasn't given me this scope. He will be getting this sent back again to him. So he just sent it because he is upgraded to a Pico 4425A, and well, I don't know where that tells you something, but sure, we'll get a wee look at that, see what this thing is. So a quick Google, and we can see it's an Autel MP408, and we'll look at a few prices. So this is all about value for money. Is this scope worth the money? Is it a bargain? You know, is it good? £413, £413. There's one there, £829. So a few different prices there. So what I've noticed is Sealy in the UK, that's their list price there of £1,000, including VAT. And we're going to zoom in on there a wee bit. So it's 4-channel scope. It says on it there maximum 100 volts, and this one here you get a load of leads with it. And if we look closely at these leads here, we can see it says on the attenuator HT201, which is a Hantac product, and these are all Hantac leads by the looks of them. And from what I've found out, that this scope is a Hantac scope basically, and Autel have their own software. Now you can use this on the Autel tablets, the MP408, and a few other ones maybe, but you can also use it on a PC. So there's PC software as well, so you don't necessarily need to have an Autel tablet to work this. And we'll just have a wee look. There's Simon Manley. What about you, Simon? And we'll go on to a few specifications here. So Autel's website here, MP408, is a PC-based 4-channel automotive oscilloscope. It works in combination with your PC or a Maxiscope tablet, which turns it into a powerful diagnostic tool. And the specs are, it's a 12-bit machine, 4 channels, 20 megahertz, which is more than enough for automotive. I think the 4425A is 25 megahertz, if I remember correctly. USB 2, overload plus or minus 200 volts. Memory buffer, and this is the important thing, 32 megasamples shared among active channels. So that's quite normal to share the buffer. And sampling rate, maximum sampling rate there, 1 or 2 channels in use, 80 megasamples per second, 3 or 4 channels in use, 20 megasamples per second. So the more channels you use, it cuts down the sample rate. So that's quite normal anyway. So I've a few wee homemade tools that I've been mucking about with, and they just happen to be out. I'm not going to connect this to a car, but we'll just have a wee look at the software and see how usable it is. So we've got the scope running on the Maxiscope tablet, and what we're going to use a couple of wee dopey homemade tools here. This is a wee oscillator thing. It's a wee piezo, so when you bang it, you get an output from it. So I know you can't see that very well, so we'll put it up on the big screen and we'll connect an HDMI to this the monitor here at the top. So it'll probably make it a bit more hashy because we've now connected to a ground. It's made it a wee bit bigger, but it still works, so we'll get you on that. Right, so we've channel B connected, so that's the green trace, and if I hit my wee oscillator with my fingers, we can see a reaction there. But as you can see from that trace, it's very sort of blocky. Now we're on 200 milliseconds per division. So this scope works, it's a wee bit like the Pico, so it's seconds per division. So we'll have 2 seconds across the screen there. So a couple of wee things that I noticed now. Well, to start off, we can go into there. There's math channel, serial decoding, selector probe, low pass filtering. So there is filtering available to us there. I haven't got any of it switched on at the minute. We're not really going to that. The selector probe, we can see there, it's offering current clamp CC65, CC650, and anybody that uses a hand tack will probably recognize that. Mass channels there available, and if we come out of that and back into the thing again, we see that the trace has fallen away down to the bottom again. So it's changed where I had that trace in the middle of the screen. If you come out of that and back into it again, which is a bit of an annoyance. And another thing I noticed on the tablet here, well, they're doing it. Sometimes it's difficult on the touchscreen to get that to move that back up. So I noticed that. I've done it right away there, but so we can stop that and we can go back through the frames. So there's 16, 17, 15, 17. So very like the Pico there. I can see a lot of hash in it, so we'll just start that again. So if we do a few traces there, stop that, and we can go back in again. Now zooming in and zooming out, we can use the touch screen to zoom in, and that's quite good. So we can use the touchscreen on the tablet. But my main concern with this is that it's very blocky. It's you know, there's like a latency almost, you know. So it doesn't really flow across the screen. And when I touch my the wee sender tool here, there's a bit of a delay. You know, there's a slight latency when I touch that, and I see it appearing on the screen. Time-based adjustments are there, so that's quite easily done. So there we go, and turn the channel on and off, and just start it again, and there's it going back down to the bottom of the screen again. So the voltage parameters there are changed quite easily on that pop-up. So I'm gonna, right, here's what I was saying earlier. I'm trying to move that up. Yeah. So it took me 3 goes there to translate that up there, but yeah, minor annoyance. But yeah, my main concern with this thing is it's very blocky. Now we'll put a wee Pico 2204 on with same parameters, same tool, and you know, we'll see if it looks any better on a wee 2204 that only costs 100 quid. I'm going to introduce another channel A, with this wee signal generator, and what I've found is as soon as I introduce that, turn on channel A, it throws it out. That wee signal generator works on every other scope I have, so I don't know why. I have no explanation of why this doesn't like that. I don't know why that is. So we'll change over onto the laptop software. So this is the PC based software, and it's a bit of a different layout. It's a couple of drop down boxes here, and in this one we can alter the sample rate up here at the top there, which we can't do on the tablet. Our parameters over here on the right, we have probe settings and drop down boxes for the different voltage levels. The one thing I did notice before I started videoing this is these drop down boxes, whenever you go to change the levels, both in the voltage and your time base there. So say you have 100 milliseconds per division on there. If you go to change that, it starts at 100 nanoseconds per division, and you have to scroll down, and the one that you're on's highlighted. So you constantly have to scroll down all the time. It's a bit of an annoyance, that. And the same with the voltage. So if I set that to, say, there's 100 volts, and I decide to change it, it's right at the start again on the drop down box. So I'll have to scroll right down to adjust it. So anywho, what we'll do, we'll start channel B here, and we'll do the same parameters that we had on the tablet, 200 milliseconds per division, and we need to connect the scope. So this bit right at the top is grayed out, so we need to start it, connect device, OK, and there's our trace on channel B with our voltage on auto, so we'll just change that to a volt, and there we go. So we have the same sort of blocky sort of trace there, and if we stop it, we can go through the frames as we could do before. So the layout of this, it seems to be inspired a wee bit by the Pico software, a wee bit. So I'll just get my wee test tool here and give it a couple of taps, and yeah, it's a similar sort of deal. But to me, it's very blocky. There's definitely a bit of a latency there. If I bring that down to, again, I have to scroll right down, 100 milliseconds per division, and if I touch the pickup tool, it's very delayed, but with 1 second across the screen at that. Now what I'll do is sample rate, we'll bring that away down to sort of help it out a bit. There's 100 kilosamples, and that gets rid of a lot of the noise too as well. So there is a filter here as well. So it's basically the same stuff. There's custom probes on this PC software, which I don't think it's on the tablet. So we can actually create a custom probe. It's very like the Pico stuff, but we can do the y equals mx plus c there, slope and stuff like that. But we cannot pick different ranges, which we can do in the Pico software. Yeah, so this H button here, it just shows so many milliseconds per division up the top here, and it's just showing exactly what's in that box beside it. So I don't know what the crack is with that. And that's a trigger, which over to the right there we're going to have auto, repeat and single, and trigger source B or A or whatever it is. So we're going to get B open at the minute. So I'm going to connect the wee frequency generator and open channel A, and this didn't work on the tablet, so we're going to see if it works on this one. So we've got our frequency generator working on the software here on the laptop. So and our wee pickup tool is on the green trace still. So if I hit a couple of dots there, we can see it spiking. But again, it's extremely blocky, I find. If we set a trigger, and we'll just hold it on channel A, the repeat trigger, and knock it down to 100 milliseconds, we can see the trace is held there. So if I hit the wee pickup tool on the green trace, I don't, yeah, there's definitely a latency in that reaction there that I can see. So with only 2 channels open, rather than the 4, I've just done that deliberately to, cut down on the memory buffer. So we'll put it back up to 200 milliseconds, and again you have to scroll the way down to change that, and we'll see. Yeah, well, latency isn't as bad there, but you see how blocky it is going across the screen. It's yeah. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put up a wee cheap 2204 with the exact same parameters, 200 milliseconds per division, exact same voltage levels, and we'll just have a wee look at the difference. The wee 2204A, which is the entry level Pico, and those are about 100 quid. I'm sure you've seen me talking about it before, and there's loads of other brilliant channels on YouTube that rant and rave about this wee tool, and it gets you into using the Pico software, which in my opinion is second to none. But it's only a 2-channel scope, whereas the Autel is clearly 4 channels. But there's a lot lower specs on this wee Pico, and that's why it's only 100 quid. Whereas that other one there, well, we've seen it for sale for 1,000, but you can get it for between 400 to 500. So yeah, it is 4 or 5 times, maybe even 10 times the price of the Autel, this wee Pico, and we'll have the exact same tools. These are only wee hobby tools, very, very low frequency. We're not really asking an awful lot here, in my opinion. A wee homemade pickup tool and stuff like that, and we're just seeing how good it responds. So we'll bring you over onto the Pico there, and we'll put it up on the big screen in a minute. So the exact same parameters that we had in the Autel. We're on 200 milliseconds per division. There's 100 kilo samples, which is quite low, but that's still help it out, sort of thing. And to me, that's a lot more responsive. So we'll do the same thing. We'll bring that down to 100, and it's a lot easier to find on that software. So we'll have another wee look. And we'll even do the same thing again. We'll introduce a trigger. And we'll just hold that frequency generator. So to me it's a lot cleaner signal, and it's not as blocky and jerky as the Autel. So I did a video a while ago on how to get the best out of the Pico, and I'll leave a link for that in the doobly-doo. And what we'll have at the minute, because it's in 200 milliseconds per division, it's in streaming mode, and it's not using the memory buffer, so it works a lot better. So yeah, now on the Autel, I don't know whether there's a block mode and a streaming mode, but it's to me it's very similar results from the Autel to this wee Pico, and this wee Pico has not got anywhere near the specification that the Autel displays. However, you know, to me, we're able to get better results out of this wee Pico. So we'll do a comparison. You decide. This is the Pico. We'll put a few noises on it there. And this is the Autel with exactly the same settings. I'll put a few noises on it there. So you decide. So in conclusion, this is not supposed to be a comparison video. This is just to see, you know, what we can do with the exact same we signal generators on these two machines that I happen to have. And the wee frequency generator didn't work on the tablet at all. It works okay on the PC software on both these machines. This is clearly a 4-channel, and that's clearly only a 2-channel. So there's a big difference there. This has better specifications. That's an 8-bit machine, that's a 12-bit according to the specs. And well, to be quite honest with you, I'm getting better results from that wee Pico than I am from that Autel. I'm 2 channels shyer, but you know, it is what it is, you know. So as I said right at the start of the video, Simon sent me this because he bought a 4-channel Pico, a 4425A. So I'm not here to run down this Autel machine. I'm sure there's plenty of guys have it and plenty of guys like it and have, you know, plenty of success with it and all that. But you know, I'm seeing that this thing isn't as good, I think, as the Pico products. You know, this is this would be an economy scope, perhaps some people would refer to it as. It is made by Hantac. It's clearly a Hantac device, and this is a budget scope. This is an entry level Pico. This is Pico's cheapest, smallest machine they make, and it gets you into scoping, and you can do a hell of a lot on the automotive with this wee boy here. You know, this is marketed as an automotive oscilloscope. It is no automotive presets or anything at all. It is just a scope. So there you go. So make of that what you want. You decide yourself. You've seen the 2 captures on these wee very, very low frequency. You know, there's nothing really testing these devices here at all, to be quite honest with you, with these wee homemade things that I have on the desk here, or coffee table, whatever it is. This wee tool here that we showed, this wee oscillator device, that will be in an upcoming video of what I'm doing with that and maybe what we can use it for. It's one of these wee home projects that, you know, we're just experimenting with. But yeah, there you are. So make of that what you want. When I get a chance, Simon, I'll pop you an email and we'll get that back to you. So, but thanks very much for taking the trouble to lend me that and let me have a wee look at it. So, okay, thanks very much for watching, as ever. Maybe you got something out of that, and all the best, and bye.